Brendan Rodgers said yesterday, he said, look, it was a good performance. It's always difficult. It's a different kind of challenge when they go down to 10 men so early in the game. Give credit to Ross County, he said, because they worked really hard when they went down. They worked man to man. The man marked us. They made it really difficult. We had some goals disallowed, which I need to see again, especially the offside one when it was just basically his shirt that was offside for Dyson Maida. It was an absolute ridiculous decision. But anyway, we move on. That's the only way we can deal with it. The fact that Andrew Dallas is only one of two full-time VAR officials in Scotland says all you need to know. He didn't think it was a good decision, Brendan Rodgers, but the guys kept on going, kept preserving, and we scored 3 outstanding goals. You have quality goals in you, like David Turnbull. Wonderful strike again from David Turnbull, who I don't think is going to sign a new contract at Celtic. From what was being told yesterday, it doesn't look like he will sign a new contract, but that might change. Brendan Rodgers might be able to turn his mind around. But anyway, move on from that. When you look at Anthony Ralston, Paulo Bernardo, Yang, all handed chances to start the game yesterday. Brendan Rodgers said, look, we needed new energy in the team. We need to rest some players. And when you look at the goals yesterday, absolutely fantastic. The guys that started gave us energy. The guys came off the bench, gave us energy, said Brendan Rodgers. It was a good win. Tell me what you think in the comments about VAR. Tell me what you think about the decisions that Andrew Dallas makes sitting in that little room of his. It's absolutely ridiculous. You have to look at the camera angles. It looks like Scottish football is the most embarrassing VAR in the entire world. It looks like we've got maybe 2 cameras to cover VAR. It looks like we've went for the cheapest option. And the decisions, I mean, the angles that the cameras are at is absolutely terrible. When you look at the computer technology in this day and age, can actually have it in 3D, and they can show you it in 3D. But Scottish football decides to just go with a couple of lines and at a right angle that is just it's unbelievable. Anyway, obviously the changes we were a bit slow at times, says Brendan Rodgers, but the main one, once we moved into their half, we had some really good combination play, said Brendan. He says you're never totally happy until you get that second goal. Obviously the first one from Turnbull, he does what Turnbull does, doesn't he? He went in just the end of the first half and he hits an absolute screamer. All the goals were fantastic yesterday. Jamesy Forrest getting a header for the third time in his career. A lot of people have been giving James Forrest a lot of stick, saying that he's past it and we shouldn't be having to rely on James Forrest. When you look at how many seasons he has scored for Celtic now, you know, it's a fantastic return, and I am glad that James Forrest is still at Celtic, and I'm glad that he is going to finish his career at Celtic. But VAR, even when Neil McCann starts talking about VAR, you know, Neil McCann he's a Rangers man through and through, but he says, look, I know it's a computer decision almost, but we're disallowing goals for a hair's breadth. We need to look at it. The lines aren't touching. It's a clear advantage given to the attacker. I thought it should have been given. There's lots of people now talking about VAR, and from all different teams. You know, it is absolutely ridiculous the way that VAR is run in Scotland. Give me your thoughts on it in the comments section. Louis Palmer. What about Louis Palmer? 23-year-old obviously produced an absolute cracker of a finish again. He'll be in fine form going to play Atletico Madrid next week. Heading to the Spanish capital again, the second year in a row. A feeling that it's going to leave Louis Palmer absolutely ecstatic when the way that he is playing. You know, when you look at the slight offside of Dyson Maida yesterday, I'm still in shock at that from yesterday. Lewis Palmer was talking about the life in Scotland, and after making the 3.5 million move in late August, he was talking about any difficulties. He was asked about any difficulties that he had settling in Scotland, and he said the only thing that's difficult about Scotland is the sun hides quite quick here. He illustrated the fact that obviously scoring his 4th goal in Dingwall, he doesn't like the fact that it does get dark really quick in Scotland. And when you see the weather in Dingwall yesterday, you'll be glad he's coming over to Spain to play some football. But the big breaking news is it's not going to be that warm in Madrid. The temperature this week in Madrid has dropped. It is only going to be around about 12 to 15 degrees, and it's going to be rather chilly at night. So if you are coming over, it's going to be a brave lot of you that are going to be wearing shorts this week anyway. That's a fact. I'll tell you one thing, I thought yesterday it was going to be another man of the match for the goalkeeper, because he had a fantastic save, quite a few fantastic saves yesterday, especially the one from Scales, from the Turnbull corner. I mean, I thought that was going in all day, but he managed to get his hand to it. It is one of those things that we need to start scoring more from corners. We're not playing that good when it comes from set ball pieces, but then when you look at the players that we do have on the pitch that can hit, like Turnbull and like Louis Palmer, I mean, that shot yesterday was absolutely brilliant. Celtic, they thought they had the breakthrough in the 31st minute when yesterday thought he'd got in from close range for the Maeda one. I mean, I keep going on about this, but I mean, it was never offside. Should have had that goal. We should have stood. Laidlaw made a point blank save to keep Bernardo out in the 38th minute. The Ross County keeper looked, he had a fantastic first half, but then he was pushed all the way with David Turnbull. David Turnbull shot. He pushed away a David Turnbull shot before he actually scored. So, you've got to say the keeper did play well yesterday, but we did manage to get the 3 points before the little trip to Madrid. And there's one thing about yesterday as well. The amount of shots that we had. 39 shots. We had 16 on target. The possession we had 79%. Passes we had 703. Our pass accuracy is probably one of the highest for the full game that we've had for a long time. It was 89%. We did create 10 fouls. There was 1 yellow card. We had 13 corners. So a lot of the shots at goal was obviously coming from corners. But we need to start scoring more from corners, I'm afraid. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. It's all coming down to the corner taker yesterday, which was Turnbull, and a lot of people were saying that Turnbull shouldn't be on the pitch, but he did score another cracking goal yesterday. So stats are what it is. The stats are what it is. If we can even get 5 shots on goal on Tuesday evening, I'll be more than happy with that. Now, as we get closer to the transfer window, one player that is wanted by his club that is out on loan is Ideguchi. Ideguchi has got the club to, him and the team have got to the J-League Cup final, and the manager of the club wants to keep Ideguchi full time. They would want to buy him, so they want to make that loan deal that runs out in a couple of months. They want that as a permanent deal, so that's one that we could be getting off the books quite soon. Another one could be David Turnbull, because it's my understanding that he does not want to sign a new contract at Celtic. And then it's just to see what other players that we can get out in January, because we do have that bloated squad that Brendan Rodgers has been talking about. So on that note, that's your Celtic news for this morning. I hope you have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll